There's no other way to say it. My father, whom obviously I love very much, who was so wonderful in so many ways, was also racist. He was born in Maryland, raised in the 20s and 30s in segregationist Maryland, moved to Cleveland, Ohio, into an ethnic neighborhood which just raised that racism, and was racist until his mid-50s when he and my mother moved to South Carolina, and he found out that the only other Catholic in the town who played golf was the African American principal of the high school. Golf changed my father. As we listen to today's gospel, it should either be very comforting to us or really troubling. Because as we listen to the dialogue between Jesus and the Canaanite woman, Jesus sounds an awful lot like my father. We believe, and the Gospels say so often, that Jesus grew in age and wisdom and grace. And here is one of the examples that shows us how Jesus grew. Think about that dialogue. A woman, a foreigner, a pagan comes to Jesus. And being a good Jew, surrounded by his disciples who are good Jews, the first idea is get her away. But she won't go. Jesus is actually rude to her. Could you imagine our own reaction if somebody told us after we asked kindly for a favor, who would say, I'm not going to take what's for my people and give it to dogs? Let's hear those words as that Canaanite woman must have heard them. And yet it did not stop her. She helps Jesus grow by turning his words against him. Even the dogs deserve the scraps that come from the Master's table. Listening to her, dialoguing with her, entering into a conversation with her, Jesus grows in wisdom, in grace, as well as in age. The example for us is fantastic, especially in this day and age, and I would suggest especially in St. Louis in this day and age. We are being confronted with the other in so many ways. Whether that other is what's happening to Christians, the wrong Muslims, and even polytheists in Iraq, whether the other are young children at our southern border, whether the other, no matter on what side of the Ferguson issue we are, is showing us the events in Ferguson. We can use our encountering with the other as a time either to strengthen ourselves in our own opinions or in entering into conversation, listening, and growing. I got my degree from the University of Chicago, not quite Wash U, but it's a good school anyway. And one of my professors there was a diocesan priest by the name of David Tracy. And one of the very centers of David Tracy's theology is what he calls conversation. And his belief, first of all, is that conversation and conversion come from the same root. Secondly, that conversation is dangerous. Because if we enter into a debate, we know we're right. And if we enter into a debate, our task is to get the other to change her or his mind. But if we enter into a true conversation, we don't know where it will end, and each of us in that conversation has to risk changing our minds. And he wanted to suggest that that's the beginning of true theology. That's the beginning of true religion, taking the risk to change our minds. Jesus entered. He began with a debate, but he allowed that debate at the initiative of the Canaanite woman to turn into a conversation. And Jesus grew. Each of us, in the many events of our lives, in the events that confront us politically, religiously, culturally, have also the opportunity either to continue a debate knowing we are right, or entering a conversation and taking the risk to change our minds. And I would like to suggest, if we choose the latter, we, like Jesus, can grow in wisdom, can grow in grace, as well as in age.